Welcome, everybody. Uh, Thank you for joining us this Sunday morning. And fantastic to have Amardeep here. 23rd uh, episode of the docu-series on the travels of Guru Nanak. And a little bit about Amardeep. He's an engineer, he's an MBA. He spent 25 years in the financial sector. Last job was in American Express, looking after Asia Pacific. He's based, revenue of Asia Pacific. He's based in Singapore. And one fine day, he, uh, you know, went back, let's say, to his first passion. And he's still young, so we don't know whether some other passions will emerge. But as of now, this is his life. This is his passion, and I think he's blessed. And in the process, I think he's ensured that our own understanding of ourselves has gone up over the last, I'd say, I mean, close to 2 years, maybe a little under 2 years, because 23 beginning we were doing them more often. So I think it's been a lovely journey. And so really, really grateful to Amardeep for doing this and taking the time to be with us. And so while we can talk about, you know, the the episode as such, you can also talk to Amardeep about how you went about making it, the other aspects of filming and things like that, if you're interested. So without much ado, let me hand it over to Amardeep. What he's going to do is give you a little short introduction of the episode, and we see the episode in full, and then we can take questions after that. So over to you, Amardeep, and thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. No, thanks a lot, Jugjiv. So again, a pleasure to be back with you all. So 23rd episode. Next month, we'll end this program with the 24th episode. It's been a long commitment, but I'm hoping that the ones who have stayed on have gained something out of it. This one we will play right through and through, from beginning till the end. Let me just give a bit of a background at a high level. So this episode opens with a very interesting leadership discussion. I mean, it's try and connect that to the modern world, right? Because we tend to think about people in the domain of faiths as religion only, right? No, I mean, religion is something that people make around very profound insights, which motivates people to rally around a thought process, and then people decide boundaries, and socio-political evolutions emerge, and that's how religion is formed. And this is a classic example. Look at, I mean, today when in the realm of religion, everyone's saying and looking for a guru. Guru is basically a teacher who's going to take you from darkness, spiritual darkness to spiritual light. I mean that, or be call it whichever problems that you're facing, you're trying to find solutions through Guru, right? And there's a very interesting dialogue that this episode will open up with. Guru Nanak actually is asked by the Nath Jogis, the Siddhas, the learned ones, right? When he goes into the commune, like they ask him, "Hey, tell us who's your guru? You've come here, right? Whose disciple are you?" Right? So they say, Tera kaun guru? Jiska tu chela. It's like, show me your identity card. Why have you come here? Whom do you belong to? Because the sense of belonging to a particular faith and boundary continues today. I mean, when we get fixed into something, we don't want to hear the other perspective. We don't want to hear other things could also add value, because we just are stuck inside our own well, right? Now look at Guru Nanak's very profound response that he gives, and this is applicable to the corporate world, to your business, to your daily life, right? He says, "Sabad Guru Surat Dhun Chela." He says, Sabad is words, words of wisdom. Experiential learning, when I'm going through experiential learning, the situations change every day, every time, every moment, right? Depending on the scenarios. In those situations, the words of wisdom are my teacher. Guru is teacher. The words of wisdom teach me, because I am internally attuned to my consciousness. I'm aware of the place that I am sitting in. I'm aware, I'm personally engaged in that moment. And therefore, through constant introspection, I am the disciple myself, right? The internal path. What a beautiful thing it is, because, In the corporate world, if you they should teach me in American Express many years back a module that used to be called as situational leadership, that used to be based on a model of the skill and the will of the individual, how skilled you are, how willed you are, what's the leadership style that someone should adopt on that person, right? And here Guru Nanak is saying situations will emerge, your thought process, these experiential learnings, and from there, your conscious introspection is a situational leadership. If you apply this model, actually, you don't need any so-called physical gurus. You don't need so-called physical religions. You don't need to actually go into a gurdwara or a temple or a mosque or a church. I'm not saying don't go there, and everything is a stepping stone, right? There's schools where you have to go. You do get inspired, and actually you grow from there. But beyond a certain point, the guru and the teacher and the disciple, the chela is right, lying inside your consciousness. I think that's the epitome of human evolution, right? So that's what he's talking about. Now, having done three major chunks of travels for 20 years, Guru Nanak and Bhai Mardana now come and settled at a place called Kartarpur, right? Which is on the banks of River Ravi. It's at the border of India, Pakistan. It now is on the River Ravi on the banks on the Pakistan side. Recently, it has been opened up through the Kartarpur corridor, but for since partition for good 74, 75 years, it had been closed and no one was actually accessing that place. But there, Guru Nanak comes and settles down after so many years of traveling on his quest, and he settles here. The last settles down in this place and spends his last 18 years of his life as a farmer. So the message out here is that while his quest took him all around, he was designed to actually have spiritual dialogues with people. To achieve something, you have to give up something. Yes, he gave away the prime of his life to actually look at spiritual quests to be addressed, right? But ultimately, he came back, and 18 years he demonstrated that when before he started, he was employed in Sultanpur Lodi as a storekeeper, right? And then he went out and he gave up and he came back and ultimately became a farmer for 18 years. So this is not an escaping kind of a scenario where people think that you have to run away from the worldly life to achieve. No, you have to give up something to earn something. But at the end of the day, you're not saying that your active participation in society is not required. I mean, because he demonstrated that 18 years he kept farming at Kartarpur. He's slowly when people saw his dialogues and his profoundness, people started coming around him and a commune started developing. And here then he established three principles, fundamental principles, very simple principles, which his adherents even till date try and aspire to. Whether they all of them do or no, I can't say, but at least we all know these principles. Is basically he says earn through honest means, have the capacity to share, the disposition to share with people. One is just to earn, the other is earn, and just have a wealth being created, materialistic possessions. But if you're not sharing, what's the point of a collective growth in the society, right? So have the responsibility to share. And the third is be always contemplative about your own growth, the internal growth. So these three principles are said. Kirat karo is earned through your hard your honest means. One chakko is to share. Naam is basically reflection, and japo is contemplation. So reflect, contemplate within. It's not like taking a name and like Ram or Vaheguru or Allah. That's not what I think Guru Nanak is saying. What he says is based on situations, reflect on the situations, contemplate on them, and grow from there. And that's his principle that he's talking about. Having settled down out there, what happens is soon thereafter, he meets this person called Lehna, right? Lehna becomes the second Nanak. He takes on there were 10 Nanaks, I mean, after him, including him. And the baton gets passed as a leadership for 250 years. He will ultimately pass the baton to Lena, but he meets him at Kartarpur, who comes there as a person in quest to understand from Nanak, and then he stays there. So at this point of time, he takes Lena, who then later on is named as Angad. I mean, that is his own body. Ang is body, this part, right? His being his own part of the body, right? Being the second Nanak. But at this point of time, he just takes him and he says, let's go for another quest, right? And this quest takes him around for 2 years around Punjab, on the Pakistan side, India, takes him down into Rajasthan. From Rajasthan, he enters again into what today is the Punjab, Pakistan, and near Uch and Multan, and from there he moves back and comes to Kartarpur and settles down for the next 18 years of his life. Right. So as he starts this journey with Lena, who later on becomes Angad, we'll find things will move very fast, very fast. This episode and next episode, things will move very fast in terms of travel. Right. He comes across a place called Kathala, and in Kathala, you'll interestingly find he has a dialogue with a Muslim saint there. And interestingly, what you'll find is after the partition, with the divide with the Hindus and Sikhs coming on this side and all the Muslims having gone to the other side, what you'll find is even the remains and ruins of those of that person, and you'll find in two, three places, right, where the locals who are not Muslims now are still maintaining the shrines and the places where they were buried, and the narrative still goes on. But these are just ways to actually anchor and try and find out the dialogues that Guru Nanak is having. And you'll find the dialogues emerging in these places as we'll go on. Ultimately, he'll come down to a place in Punjab, which is in the India side, called Batala, which where there is in Batala there is no not yeah Achal Batala. There's a place called Achal Batala, close to Batala on the outskirts. There is a shrine of the Shaivite tradition out there, right? A very famous shrine of Shaivite tradition. And Guru Nanak meets the Shaivite tradition, the Nath Jogis out here, and there's a dialogue that happens with this person called Bhangar Nath, right? And Bhangar Nath basically questions him because Guru Nanak has married, right? I mean, he has been on a quest, he's been moving around, his wife has come and settled down with him again now after his travels in Kartarpur. But the Bhangar Nath now asks him, "You are married. You are not entitled to spiritual quest in the spiritual path, right?" And he says, just like a bowl of milk in which there is tartar, जो दही जमाने के लिए जो यूज करते हैं जोरन, राइट, अगर वैसा कुछ आ जाए उसमें, so the milk gets spoiled and it gets curdled and it'll no more be milk, the purity is lost, right? And Guru Nanak gives a very profound reply that as a law of nature, plants and animals don't choose isolation, because what he's saying is, by Bhanganath is saying that by being inside the society, by being married and being engaged with people, you are actually not fit to be a spiritual person. And Guru Nanak's reply is beautiful. He says, plants, nature, animals, they don't live in isolation. I mean, we are living as an ecosystem. There are always points of interactions where you might be in isolation for some time, but you will have to interact with people. You'll have to them. So by saying that, to be a celibate, to give up a family life is the only way, um, that you can actually develop on the path of spirituality. He says, no, that's not true, right? And he gives a very profound statement out here, but he ends here by saying, you all are followers of the Shaivite tradition, and Shiva married Parvati, right? So what is the hypocrisy out here? The Lord that you are worshiping, Shiva, he himself is a married person, right? So he gives very logical. Nanak is very logical out here, right? Then he moves on to Bikaner in Rajasthan, and in Bikaner, we will this episode will end at Bikaner and Kolayat. And then next episode, the last one, will go from Multan upwards and back into Kartarpur, and the episodes will end there. But here, the episode will end in Bikaner, where Guru Nanak has these beautiful dialogues with the followers of the Vaishnavite tradition. I don't know how many of you are aware, but there is this Bishnoi tribe. Bishnoi tribes in Rajasthan are, in a lot of these places, especially in the western part of India, the word, like from the Gangetic belt, like your Varanasi and Lucknow and all these places, what we'll say, vichar va, contemplate, thinking, vichar va, or vinay, the verb becomes a burr in the western side. In Punjab, in Rajasthan, these words will be said as bine or bichar, right? So verb becomes a burr, right? And so Vaishnavites, the Vaishno group of people become Bishnoi. So right, the Bishnois are the one. If people interesting, just out of curiosity, it's a fun fact, right? There was the Bishnois actually love keeping these black pug deers, right? They don't actually uh, they allow them to live in their ecosystem. They'll never kill a black buck deer. And sometime back, this the Salman Khan, the Bollywood actor, he had shot a black buck deer, and there was a case that went against him for a long time. And the Bishnois are very, very passionate about it. So you will find in this episode, interestingly, in his interactions with the Bishnoi tribe people, who are basically followers of Vishnu, Vaishnavites, and we also show the various amounts of deers moving around in this region, showing the intertwining of the Bishnoi tribes with the black buck deers and the other forms of deer species. But the episode will end with, in Rajasthan, then he goes to a place called Kolayat is in the outskirts of Bikaner, where there is a temple dedicated to Kapil Muni. Now, Kapil Muni is one of the founders of one of the six Indian philosophical system, which is known as Sankhya. You know, you have Vedant, Sankhya, Mimamsa, Yoga. You have these six systems in Indian philosophy. One of the system is Sankhya, right? Sankhya was started by Kapil Muni. And there's a profound dialogue. I don't know how many of you will be able to understand it, but just be there, just hear it. You know, these things sometimes flower later on, but Sankhya philosophy and his interaction with Guru Nanak, with the followers of Kapil Muni, Guru Nanak gives a very profound statement about Kartarpur. Purak basically is that creative energy, not Purak. Purak is coming from the word Purush. Purush, in that normally the philosophy will say a entity, a Purush, not a male. It means a entity that is creating the universe, right? Now, when you say an entity that creates the universe, the question is that entity involved in the universe? Is that entity the universe? The Karta is creator. So Guru Nanak gives a profound message out here, is that the creator, the so-called Purush, actually is the creation itself, because the creation and the creator are intertwined. So that's a profound message he gives there, which shows there's nothing different. You know, this concept of what the followers of Nanak today say, God is one, God is one. It gets disputed through these words out here. We understand Nanak's philosophy is everything is one. And we end this episode by just understanding that you and I, the animals and me, the vegetation and me, we are all dependent on each other. We are part of that one ecosystem. The so-called concept sitting outside, be it Shivaji, be it Vishnu, be it Allah, be it why Guru? These are constructs created by human mind. The fact is, the creation itself is the creator. The creator itself is the creation, and we are a part of that ecosystem. I'll stop there. Thank you so much.
Should I
Thank
start the
you.
video?
Yes, please. Yes, Tanisha. I got some insights into where Anup Bishnoi comes from.
Well, a lot of insights come in if you just keep your mind open and just move around the
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
You know, moving and traveling and just
yeah.
letting the dots connect. It gives a lot of insights. You know, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I mean, what I found fascinating about this episode was because I've been to Dera Baba Nanak, what, 6, 7 years ago. So it's very fascinating to
Yeah.
go there to you. Okay.
Manish, you could probably skip the first 1.5 minutes, you know, all those titles, and I'll just get down to the
Let's
first
just
one
make
and
sure
a
the
half minutes.
sound is,
The sound is not coming here.
just play it,
It was not
Tanisha.
audible. Let me try again.
And skip the first 1.5 minutes
It's
here.
1 minute. So let me see what I
Yeah,
did
just
wrong.
have you ticked that box?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
Let me know if the sound is there.
द्वारा मिश्रित और वितरित
Yeah,
किया गया
Yeah.
उत्तम
Okay.
just skip a little bit to this, you know. No, about 1.5. No, go a bit back. Yeah, just stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
नाम
Is that fine?
yeah.
पिता पुरख निर्भय निर्वैर अकाल मूरत गुर प्रसाद गुरु नानक इलाही विवेक का इजहार हैं। गुरु नानक किस गुरु की लालसा करते हैं और वो किसके चेले हैं?
साबद गुरु सुरतन चेला।
गुरु नानक कहते हैं विवेक की इजहार सबद गुरु है और इंसान की सूरत द्वारा तत्व पर सचेत आत्म पड़ताल चेला है। वर्षों तक सुदूर इलाकों की चिर स्मरणीय उदासियों के बाद गुरु नानक ने किसान के तौर पर चरवाहों वाली जगह पर बसने का मंसूबा बनाया। उनकी इच्छा थी कि परिवार की देखभाल करें और बाकी जिंदगी अपनी मेहनत की कमाई दूसरों में बांटने में व्यतीत करें। इस दौरान वो अपने तजुर्बों का ज्ञान भी समाज में बांटते रहे। एक उपयुक्त स्थान की तलाश में गुरु नानक और भाई मर्दाना ने अपने गांव तलवंडी, जो अब ननकाना साहिब के नाम से जाना जाता है, के उत्तर की ओर का सफर किया और रावी नदी के किनारे एक शांत जगह का चुनाव किया। सिया उप्पल जन्म साखी के अनुसार इस स्थान का नाम जम्मन वाली था और गुरु नानक के दौर में इसका नाम बदलकर करतारपुर कर दिया गया था। गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर चलते हुए अब हम ननकाना साहिब से करतारपुर जा रहे हैं, जो इंडिया पाकिस्तान की सरहद के पास है। गुरु नानक ने अपनी जिंदगी के आखिरी 18 वर्ष रावी नदी के किनारे बिताए। यहाँ गुरु नानक ने अपने फलसफे के 3 बुनियादी असूलों का प्रचार किया। किरत करो, बांट कर खाओ और नाम जपो। किरत करो का अमल ईमानदारी से कर्मों के रास्ते अपने और दूसरों के भले के लिए कमाई करना है। बांट कर खाने का अर्थ है अपनी नेक कमाई को दूसरों के साथ साझा करते हुए उपयोग करना, चाहे कमाई पदार्थ के रूप में हो या रूहानियत के रूप में। नाम जपो की तरकीब ही आत्म पड़ताल है, जो मनुष्य के अपने और समाज के विकास में मदद करती है। बिरादरी का इत्तेफाक मानव और आर्थिक विकास में बढ़ोतरी करने की बुनियाद बनता है, जिसके साथ कायनात भी सेहतमंद रहती है। सामाजिक बराबरी में सहायक होने वाली सोच ही गुरु नानक की तर्ज जिंदगी थी। उनके अनुयायियों ने रावी के किनारे इकट्ठा होना शुरू कर दिया। भाई गुरदास ने अपनी वारों में उस बिरादरी के प्रतिष्ठित व्यक्तियों के नाम दर्ज किए हैं। तारू पोपटू, मूला कीड़, पिरथा, खेड़ा, पिरथीमल सहगल, रामा टिड्डी, मालो, मांगा, कालू, भक्ता ओरी, सिया उप्पल, जिता रंधावा, बूढ़ा बुढ़ा, फिरना खैरा, जोध, जीवाई, गुज्जर लोहार और नाई तिंग। उनके पैरोकारों ने स्वयं को सिख कहना शुरू कर दिया। जिसका मायने सीखने वालों से था, और जम्मन वाली को करतारपुर कहना शुरू कर दिया। जो दो शब्दों के जोड़ से बना है। करतार का मायने हाजरा हजूर है और पुर का मायने बसना है। साझे हितों से जुड़े जीवों के संयोजन से बिरादरी बनती है, जो अपने ख्यालों के आदान प्रदान और सोच की साझ के लिए भाईचारा बांधते हैं। सामाजिक संबंधों, रिश्तों, रूहानियत और सामाजिक कल्याण सभी आपस में जुड़े हुए हैं। गुरु नानक दुनियावी रिश्ते को गुणों से जोड़ते हैं। उन्होंने माँ के तौर पर विवेक की परवरिश करने, पिता के तौर पर संतोष को मन में बसाने और हमसाया के तौर पर सच से दोस्ती करने की सलाह दी।
माता मत पिता संतोख सत पाई कर हो वसेख।
गुरु नानक के पैरोकारों की रावी नदी के पूर्वी तट पर बढ़ोतरी होने लगी, जिसे पखोके रंधावा कहते हैं। करतारपुर से गुरु नानक अक्सर रावी नदी पार करते थे और पखोके रंधावा जाते थे। उपमहाद्वीप में 1947 के बंटवारे के दौरान रेडक्लिफ लाइन के साथ रावी के पूर्वी और पश्चिमी किनारों को विभाजित किया गया, जिससे पखोके रंधावा इंडिया में आया और करतारपुर पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा बन गया। मौजूदा दौर में सियासी कारणों से इंडिया पाकिस्तान की सरहद को तय नाकों से ही पार किया जा सकता है। इसलिए गुरु नानक की यादों से साथ सांझ कायम करने के लिए हम रावी नदी के पूर्व की ओर जाने के लिए वाघा सरहद के रास्ते से इंडिया में डेरा बाबा नानक जा रहे हैं। रावी नदी के पूर्व की ओर गांव पखोके रंधावा का नाम बदलकर गुरु नानक के नाम पर डेरा बाबा नानक कर दिया गया है। माना जाता है कि डेरा बाबा नानक का नाम गुरु नानक के पोते और लक्ष्मी चंद के पुत्र धर्मचंद ने रखा था। पखोके रंधावा गुरु नानक की पत्नी माता सुलखनी का मायका था। गुरु नानक अपने ससुर साहिब को मिलने के लिए पखोके रंधावा जाते थे, जो राजस्व विभाग में अधिकारी थे। हम डेरा बाबा नानक में गुरुद्वारा दरबार साहिब जा रहे हैं, जो गुरु नानक की याद में रावी नदी के पूर्वी तट पर बना हुआ है। ये दिलचस्प है कि हैदराबाद रियासत के निजाम के वजीर दीवान चंदू लाल ने 18वीं शताब्दी में गुरु नानक की याद में बने इस गुरुद्वारे के निर्माण में अहम योगदान दिया था। चंदू लाल वही व्यक्ति हैं जिन्होंने गुरु नानक के संदेश को दक्षिण इंडिया में फैलाने के लिए 19वीं शताब्दी में गुंटूर, हैदराबाद, कांचीपुरम, रामेश्वरम, तिरुचिरापल्ली और तिरुवन्नमलाई में मठ बनवाए थे। डेरा बाबा नानक से हम पाकिस्तान के करतारपुर गांव को देख सकते हैं। बंटवारे के 72 साल बाद 2019 में इंडिया के डेरा बाबा नानक और पाकिस्तान के करतारपुर के बीच लगभग 5 किलोमीटर लंबा गलियारा बनाया गया, ताकि इस रास्ते इंडिया के श्रद्धालु पाकिस्तान में करतारपुर साहिब गुरुद्वारे के दर्शन करने के लिए जा सकें। जन्म साखी लेखों में दर्ज है कि पखोखे रंधावा के एक जागीरदार अजिता रंधावा ने धर्मशाला बनवाने के लिए धन इकट्ठा किया था, जहां आने वाली संगत को गुरु नानक विवेक बांटते थे। ऐतिहासिक दस्तावेजों में यह दर्ज नहीं है कि यह धर्मशाला रावी नदी के कौन से तट पर बनाई गई थी। गुरु नानक की दूसरी उदासी के दौरान लाहौर में मुलाकात के बाद दुनी चंद उनके पैरोकार बन गए थे। उन्होंने आने वाली संगत के लिए रावी नदी के तट पर विश्राम घर बनवाया। हम गुरुद्वारा चोला साहिब जा रहे हैं, जहां इस्लामी आयतों वाला चोला नुमाइश में लगा हुआ है। पीढ़ी दर पीढ़ी चली आ रही कथा के मुताबिक बगदाद के एक श्रद्धालु ने ये चोला गुरु नानक को तोहफे के तौर पर दिया था, जिसको 1828 में स्थानीय वासी काबली मल द्वारा डेरा बाबा नानक गांव लाया गया था। जन्म साखी लेखों में बगदाद में गुरु नानक को तोहफे में चोला मिलने का जिक्र नहीं आता। मैं इस चोले को गुरु नानक के प्रति सभी मजहबों के लोगों के प्यार और सत्कार के तौर पर देखता हूँ, जिन्हें गुरु नानक ने फलसफे के विवेक के व्यवहारिक चोगे से नवाजा। वृद्ध हो चुके भाई मर्दाना रावी नदी के तट पर फानी दुनिया से रुखसत हो गए। भाई मर्दाना मिरासी बिरादरी से थे, जिनकी पृष्ठभूमि अरबी लफ्ज मरास से जुड़ती है, जिसका मायने विरासत है। भाई मर्दाना की सबसे बढ़िया पहचान एक लामिसाल इंसान के तौर पर हो सकती है, जिन्हें संगत का सत विरासत में मिला। संगत शब्द का मूल संस्कृत के शब्द संग से जुड़ता है, जिसका मायने साथी होना है। गुरु नानक के वहदत के संदेश का प्रचार करने के लिए भाई मर्दाना ने उनका ईमानदारी से साथ निभाया। रूहानी आजादी हासिल कर लेने के कारण भाई मर्दाना में अपने प्रति मान्यता की लालसा नहीं थी, इसलिए उन्होंने गुरु नानक से अनुरोध किया कि उनके शरीर का इस तरह से अंतिम संस्कार किया जाए कि उनकी मृत्यु के बाद वहां कोई यादगार ना बन सके। मर्दाना का मायने है जो कभी नहीं मरता। अपने नाम के मायने को सत्य सिद्ध करते हुए भाई मर्दाना की विरासत गुरु नानक के अभिन्न संगी के तौर पर कायम है। भाई मर्दाना ने अपने शब्दों में अपने रूहानी विवेक को भी गुरु नानक के नाम लगाया है। गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब में दर्ज उनके शब्द में आता है,
ज्ञान गुण सालाह मंडे पोमास आहार नानक भोजन सत्य है, सच नाम आधार। काया लाहन आप मद अमृत तिसके तार सत्संगत स्यो मिलाप होए लेव कटोरी अमृत परे पी पी कटे बेकार।
भाई मर्दाना कहते हैं कि अगर शरीर का इस्तेमाल आत्म पहचान का मिश्रण करने वाले बर्तन के रूप में किया जाता है तो इससे अमृत रूपी घोल तैयार होता है। रूहानी आरज़ूमंदों का संग अमृत पैदा करता है जो मन के विकारों को काटने के लिए दरकार है। भाई मर्दाना की मृत्यु के बाद रबाबी वाली जगह उनके पुत्र शहजादा ने ले ली। खडूर साहिब के निवासी भाई लहणा ज्वाला जी के सालाना तीरथ को जाते हुए कुछ दिनों के लिए रावी नदी के किनारे गुरु नानक के पास रहे। गुरु नानक के फलसफे ने उनका दिल छू लिया, इसलिए उन्होंने गुरु नानक के साथ रहने का फैसला कर लिया। आने वाले दौर में भाई लहणा ही दूसरे गुरु अंगद के रूप में सामने आए। गुरु नानक ने 1525 ईस्वी के शुरू में पंजाब के निकट वाले स्थानों की यात्रा की। इस उदासी के दौरान कुछ समय के लिए भाई लहणा भी उनके साथ थे। उन्होंने कथाला, अचल बटाला, किरी अफगाना, सुल्तानपुर लोधी, सराय नागा और बीकानेर का सफर किया। करतारपुर से गुरु नानक और भाई लहणा ने कथाला का सफर किया। गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर अब हम करतारपुर से कथाला जा रहे हैं। इन द विलेज कथाला गांव में गुरु नानक की मुलाकात दो सूफी फकीरों पीर अब्दुल रहमान और मियां मिठा सियाल से हुई। यह मियां मिठा सियाल की समाधि है। पीर अब्दुल रहमान और गुरु नानक ने सामाजिक ना बराबरी के बारे में गोष्ठी की। उप महाद्वीप की 1947 के बंटवारे के दौरान इस इलाके की मुसलमान बिरादरी पाकिस्तान पलायन कर गई। इस स्थान का इंतजाम अब कथाला गांव की सिख और हिंदू बिरादरी करती है। इस स्थान पर लोगों का जुड़ाव सामाजिक बंटवारे से अलग हटकर देखने की मानवीय क्षमता को दर्शाता है। हालांकि एक साथ रहने के बावजूद समाज में संशय बना रहता है और मजहबी जुड़ाव अपनी विशिष्ट पहचान और मान्यता के खो जाने के संशय को पालते हैं। गुरु नानक ने फरमाया कि खौफजदा होकर हम अकारण बहसों में पड़ते हैं और बेमायने टकराव में पड़कर किसी मकसद के लिए बनी जिंदगी व्यर्थ बर्बाद करते हैं।
चख चख चखना चगड़ा चख।
कथाला गांव में गुरु नानक के आने की याद में गुरुद्वारा बनाया गया है। पास के गांव जोड़िया कला में उबारे खान के साथ भी गुरु नानक ने इसी तरह से गोष्ठी की थी। इस गांव में उबारे खान के साथ मुलाकात की कोई निशानी नहीं है। कथाला से गुरु नानक और भाई लहणा ने अचल बटाला का सफर किया। गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर चलते हुए अब हम कथाला से अचल बटाला जा रहे हैं, जो बटाला शहर से तकरीबन 5 किलोमीटर दूर है। ऐतिहासिक तौर पर अचल बटाला प्राचीन अचलेश्वर मंदिर के लिए जाना जाता है, जो भगवान शिव के सबसे बड़े पुत्र कार्तिकेय को समर्पित है। किस्सा ये है कि अपने छोटे भाई गणेश के साथ मुकाबला हारने के बाद कार्तिकेय ने इस स्थान पर निवास किया था। अचलेश्वर दो शब्दों से मिलकर बना है। अचल का मायने है अटल और ईश्वर का मायने इलाही है। भगवान शिव की अकीदत में हिंदू बिरादरी सालाना त्योहार शिवरात्रि के तौर पर मनाती है, जिसका मायना शिव की रात बनता है। यह त्योहार सूर्यास्त से सूर्योदय तक मनाया जाता है, जिसका मतलब है अज्ञानता के अंधेरे पर ज्ञान का उदय होना। शिवरात्रि के मौके पर गुरु नानक अचलेश्वर धाम गए और भंगरनाथ जोगी के साथ रूहानी गोष्ठी की। भंगरनाथ जोगी गोरखनाथ जमात के पैरोकार थे। जोगियों की समझ थी कि एकांत में ब्रह्मचारी जिंदगी गुजारना, भिक्षा लेना और तप करना ही रूहानियत का एकमात्र रास्ता है। भंगरनाथ ने बयान दिया कि गुरु नानक का रुझान रूहानी है, लेकिन उनका गृहस्थ जिंदगी गुजारने का फैसला दूध में फिटकरी घोलने की तरह है, जिससे दूध फट जाता है और पीने योग्य नहीं रहता। उनके मुताबिक परिवार में रहना सच्चे ज्ञान की प्राप्ति के मार्ग में बाधक है। गुरु नानक ने जवाब दिया कि कुदरत के नियमों के मुताबिक पेड़ और जानवर एकांतवास नहीं करते और एक साथ रहकर दूसरी नस्लों के पालनहार बनते हैं। इसी तरीके से मनुष्य को अपने आसपास की बढ़ोतरी के लिए जिंदगी बढ़ाने की जरूरत है। गुरु नानक ने जिक्र किया कि ब्रह्मचारियों को जिंदगी के साथ उनके माता पिता ने नवाजा है, जो गृहस्थ जीवन गुजारते हैं। एक और ब्रह्मचारी गृहस्थों द्वारा दिए गए दान पर गुजारा करते हैं और दूसरी तरफ गृहस्थों को नालायक करार देते हैं। गुरु नानक ने उन्हें याद दिलाया कि वह शिव भगत के रूप में भगवान शिव की अकीदत करते हैं, जो पारिवारिक जीवन जीते थे। गुरु नानक ने गायन किया,
उजल कहा चिलकना कोटम कालड़ी मस तो त्या झूठ न उतरै जे सौ थोवा तिस सजन से नाल में चल दिया नाल चलन जिथे लिखा मंगिए तिथे खड़े दिसन।
गुरु नानक ने कहा कि कांसे का बर्तन चमकीला होता है, लेकिन सीलन लगते ही काला हो जाता है। इसी तरह लोग दिव्यता में पहुंचे हुए लग सकते हैं, लेकिन उनके विवेक उसी समय सामने आते हैं जब अलग अलग हालात में विभिन्न लोगों के साथ उनके संवाद को देखा जाता है। गुरु नानक के अचल बटाला में आने की याद में अचलेश्वर मंदिर के सामने गुरुद्वारा अचल साहिब बना हुआ है। इस गुरुद्वारे के लिए 19वीं सदी में महाराजा रंजीत सिंह ने जमीन दान में दी थी। अचल बटाला से गुरु नानक और भाई लहणा ने कीड़ी अफगाना का सफर किया। गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर अब हम अचल बटाला से कीड़ी अफगाना जा रहे हैं, जो ब्यास नदी के पश्चिमी किनारे पर मौजूदा कस्बे श्री हरगोबिंदपुर के नजदीक बसा हुआ है। विलायत वाली जन्म साखी में गुरु नानक की कीड़ी अफगाना में कुछ पठानों के साथ गोष्ठी करने का जिक्र आता है, पर किसी नाम का जिक्र नहीं आता। स्थानीय कथा के मुताबिक गुरु नानक से गोष्ठी करने वालों में एक पठान का नाम पीर दुल्लो शाह बताया जाता है। गुरु नानक की पीर दुल्लो शाह से मुलाकात कीड़ी अफगाना में हुई, जिसको कीड़ी पठाना भी कहा जाता है। माना जाता है कि यह पीर दुल्लो शाह की कब्र है। मजहब की बुनियाद पर उप महाद्वीप की 1947 में हुई बंटवारे से स्थानीय मुसलमान आबादी यहाँ से पलायन कर गई। अब इस कब्र की देखरेख गांव वाले करते हैं। विलायत वाली जन्म साखी में दर्ज है कि गुरु नानक ने कीड़ी अफगाना में शुक्राने के महत्व पर जोर दिया।
पाना वाड़ी होए कर घर सार न जाने रसिया होवे मुस्क का तब फूल पछाणे अपे ओ पीवे जो नानका ब्रह्म समावे सहजे सहजे मिल रहे सहजे सहजे मिल रहे अमरा पद पावे अमरा।
गधों में अपने आप को महफूज रखने की प्रवृत्ति उन्हें अपरिचित स्थानों की सलाहियत करने से रोकती है। इस कारण उन्हें अड़ियल समझा जाता है। गुरु नानक ने गधे की मिसाल देते हुए समझाया कि जैसे गधा पान की बेलों का मूल्य नहीं जान सकता, उसी प्रकार मनुष्य की अड़ियल प्रवृत्ति उसको अपने आसपास के गुणों का आनंद लेने से रोकती है। शुक्रगुजार होने से मनुष्य के सभी संदेह दूर हो जाते हैं और अमृत विवेक की रहमत होती है। कीड़ी अफगाना से गुरु नानक और भाई लहना ने सुल्तानपुर लोधी की ओर सफर किया। उन्होंने ब्यास नदी में किश्ती के रास्ते दक्षिण की ओर का सफर किया और पूर्वी किनारे पर खडूर उतर गए। वहां से पैदल सुल्तानपुर लोधी गए, जो वही नदी के किनारे पर बसा है। गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर अब हम कीड़ी अफगाना से सुल्तानपुर लोधी जा रहे हैं। गुरु नानक और भाई लहना ने सुल्तानपुर लोधी में गुरु नानक की बहन बेबे नानकी के साथ कुछ दिन गुजारे और दक्षिण की ओर मट्टे दी सराय नामक गांव की ओर बढ़े, जो मौजूदा दौर में सराय नागा के नाम से जाना जाता है। गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर अब हम मुक्तसर जिले से सराय नागा जा रहे हैं। रोशनी की सराहना करने के लिए अंधेरे का तजुर्बा बहुत अहम है। गुरु नानक ने कई सालों के दौरान की गई अस्मरणीय उदासियों में बहुत कठिनाइयों का सामना किया। सैद्धांतिक, रूहानी, आरजूमंद, करुणा से धड़कते दिल, विस्तार से देखने वाली आंखें, धैर्य से भरपूर साहसी स्वभाव वाले गुरु नानक ने सभी मुसीबतों को अवसर के रूप में मान्यता दी। उन्होंने कहा कि ललकार बनने वाले हालात इलाज जैसे हैं और अनुकूल हालात बीमारी जैसे हैं, क्योंकि सुख अपने आप सीखने और विकास की जरूरत के राह में रोड़ा बनते हैं।
दुख दारू सुख रोग भया जा सुख ताम न होई।
सराय नागा भाई लहणा का जन्म स्थान है। यह गुरुद्वारा गुरु नानक के सराय नागा आने की याद में बनाया गया है। अभिलाषी की तरक्की में संरक्षक का होना लाजमी है। गुरु नानक के संरक्षक के तौर पर और भाई लहणा की अभिलाषी के तौर पर पवित्र सांझ तब्दीली के दौर में से निकल रही थी। रूहानी जिम्मेदारी को अगले हाथों में देने का समय नजदीक आ रहा था। शाम और चढ़ते सूरज का माहौल चमत्कारी समय होता है, जब आसमान चमक रहा होता है। शाम के वक्त सूरज छिपने लगता है, जो बीते वक्त पर विचार करने का समय होता है। और भोर के बाद सूरज चढ़ता है, जो नई शुरुआत की हौसला अफजाई करता है। गुरु नानक कहते हैं, गुरमुख जाग रहे चूकी अभिमानी राम, अंदिन पोहर पया साच समानी राम। सराय नागा से गुरु नानक ने भाई लहणा को करतारपुर वापस जाकर इंतजाम देखने के लिए कहा और आप अगले सफर पर चल पड़े। सराय नागा से गुरु नानक ने राजपूताना इलाके में बीकानेर का सफर किया।
समदर सा सतगुरु किया और दिया अभी चल गया, जहाँ देखूं तहाँ एक ही और दूजा नाहिया।
हम गुरु नानक के पद चिन्हों पर सराय नागा से बीकानेर जा रहे हैं।
अब थारा लाल समंदड़ारा माई हो मार जीवा को लाल ल्यावे हो। अरे भाई देश अजब है, नुगुरा था न पाया गुरा दी, हाँ सुधरारी गति।
बीकानेर इंडिया के राज्य राजस्थान में है, जो पाकिस्तान की सरहद के नजदीक है। इसका नाम इसके संस्थापक राव बीका के नाम पर पड़ा है, जो राठौर वंश के मेवाड़ राज्य के राजा थे। उन्होंने 15वीं सदी में इस इलाके के किले में छोटी सी जगह बसाई थी। उस समय यह इलाका जंगल देश कहलाता था।
कैसी अजब है, नुगुरा था न पाया गुरा दी।
थार मारूथल के बीच में बीकानेर समृद्ध विरासत और सभ्यता का शहर है। जब गुरु नानक इस शहर में आए थे तो यह सौदागरों और तीर्थ यात्रियों का केंद्र था, क्योंकि यह मध्य एशिया के व्यापारिक रास्ते पर पड़ता था। ऐतिहासिक तौर पर राजस्थानी तहजीब में कुदरत के तत्वों की पूजा होती थी। बाद में महाराष्ट्र के महानुभवी और वरकरी पंथियों द्वारा विष्णु मत का असर हुआ और विष्णु भगवान की पूजा होने लगी। इस इस इलाके में जैन मत का भी असर हुआ। इसी कारण बीकानेर में विभिन्न रवायतों से जुड़े मंदिरों की दिलचस्प श्रृंखला है। बीकानेर गांव में गुरु नानक की मुलाकात विष्णुमतियों से हुई, जो भगवान विष्णु के श्रद्धालु थे। ग्रामीणों ने पूछा कि अभिलाषी को इलाही से मिलाने वाले कई राह हैं, परंतु सबसे वाजिब राह कौन सा है? जवाब में गुरु नानक ने गायन किया,
रूड़ो ठाकुर मारो, रूड़ी गुरबाणी, वडे पग सतगुर मिले, पाय पद निर्वाणी। मैं उलगी आओ लगी, हम छोरू थारे, जो तो राखे त्यों रहा, मुख नाम हमारे।
गुरु नानक ने फरमाया कि विनम्रता, सोच विचार और कुदरत के नियम के मुताबिक जीने का राह सबसे अच्छा है। बीकानेर के ही दूसरे गांव में विष्णुमतियों के एक टोले ने गुरु नानक की मेजबानी की। गोष्ठी के दौरान विष्णुमतियों ने गुरु नानक से पूछा कि जन्म से लेकर मृत्यु के सफर में जिंदगी का बुनियादी मकसद क्या है? जवाब में गुरु नानक ने गायन किया,
अंधले क्या पाया जग आए, अंधले क्या पाया जग आए, राम हृदय नहीं गुर की सेवा। चाल मूल गवाए, अंधले क्या पाया जग आए, अंधले 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 क्या पाया जग आए।
गुरु नानक ने फरमाया कि मानव जिंदगी का बुनियादी मकसद वह विवेक हासिल करना है जो समूची कायनात की सृजना को एक समझता है। हम अब बीकानेर के बड़ा बाजार में अकीदत वाले एक स्थान पर जा रहे हैं। नानक पंथियों ने गुरु नानक के इस शहर में आने की याद में सभी मजहबों के लिए एक साझा स्थान बनाया। राजस्थान में सिंधी बिरादरी सत्यनारायण की श्रद्धालु है, जो हिंदू पौराणिक कथाओं में इलाही का एक रूप है। इसके साथ ही सिंधी बिरादरी गुरु नानक की भी श्रद्धालु है। इस सत्यनारायण मंदिर में गुरु नानक और सत्यनारायण की पूजा की जाती है। बीकानेर के बाहर कोलायत में हिंदुओं का ऐतिहासिक तीर्थ स्थान है। कपिल सरोवर के तट पर बना मंदिर कपिल मुनि को समर्पित है, जो 500 ईसा पूर्व के प्राचीन ऋषि हैं। उन्हें सांख्य दर्शन का संस्थापक माना जाता है, जो भारतीय दार्शनिक फलसफे के 6 सिलसिलों में से एक है। ऐसा माना जाता है कि कपिल मुनि ने इसी स्थान पर अपना शरीर छोड़ा था। कपिल सरोवर के तट पर गुरु नानक ने जैन बिरादरी के लोगों और संत कपिल के पैरोकारों से गोष्ठी की। कपिल सरोवर के तट पर कोलायत में यह गुरुद्वारा गुरु नानक के इस जगह पर आने की याद में बनाया गया। जैनी श्रद्धालुओं ने अपने संदेहवादी फलसफे की बात की, जो परमात्मा के होने या नहीं होने के बारे में किसी तरह की राय ना होने का दावा करती है। कपिल मुनि के पैरोकारों ने सांख्य फलसफे का वर्णन किया, जो सृजना के दो स्वतंत्र पहलुओं के बारे में शिक्षा देता है, पुरुष निरोल चेतना और प्रकृति भौतिक पदार्थ है। गुरु नानक ने वहदत के बारे अपनी सोच का इजहार कर्ता पुरख के लफ्जों के साथ किया कि कर्ता ही सृजनहार के तौर पर पदार्थ के रूप में जाहिर होता है। कर्ता पुरख और पुरुष एक ही हैं, जो इलाही चेतना है। गुरु नानक ने गायन किया,
सर्वे जोए अगच्छमि दुख कने लोआत कालर लादस सरलागना लाभ न पूंजी साथ पूंजी साचो नाम तू अखुटो दरब अपार नानक वखर निर्मलो तन साहो वपार।
गुरु नानक ने फरमाया कि मानव जिंदगी का बुनियादी मकसद कुदरत के शाश्वत अस्तित्व और सृजना की हाजरा हजूरी है। इंडिया के राजस्थान और पाकिस्तान के सिंध में फैले रेगिस्तान को मारू कहा जाता है। इस शब्द का नाता खुश्क, सूखे, रेतीले और तूफानी हवाओं वाले माहौल से है। रूहानी आरजूमंदों की परंपरा में मारू का अर्थ मन की वह हालत है जिसमें विवेक होने के बावजूद आत्म प्रतिबिंब का सूखा होता है। इसलिए मनुष्य चेतना की बारिश से वंचित रहता है। संगीत श्रोताओं में कई हमदिली के जज्बात जगाती है। इस सूखाग्रस्त मारू इलाके में सफर करते हुए मेरा मारू मन गुरु नानक के माज राग में डूब जाता है। राग माज संगीत का बुनियादी ढांचा है, जो बैराग और बिछोड़े के दर्द पर काबू पाने के बाद इलाही के साथ मेल की उम्मीद जगाता है।
मारू मिहना त्रिपतया अगिल है ना पुक राजा राजना त्रिपतया सायर परे कि सुख नानक सच्चे नाम की केती पुछा पुछ।
if you have any questions, please raise your hand, and also you can put them in chat. Uh, Amardeep, I was telling you about a visit to Dera Baba Nanak. I was looking at the pictures, so I have similar pictures of the chola that you showed. And, my mommy is a is from the Bedi family, and she's got a sort of a family tree which is going up to Guru Nanak. And what was interesting for me for that visit in Dera Baba Nanak, that I mean, obviously many branches of the family, but her branch of the family actually runs a mandir in Dera Baba Nanak. And uh, the point that you made about how things start, but who are keeping it going, right? Started by maybe a Muslim, but Sikhs and Hindus are keeping it going. So I just thought it was relevant in that context how families keep it going. The caretakers are Sikhs, and the main temple, they have pictures, and I can show them later. Of maybe I can try and show it now. But they have pictures of, uh, yeah, I think you can see my screen, right? So that's the temple. And,
Can't see. Okay, yeah.
and that's like the caretaker. And the day I went, they were doing some sort of langar. So that's the temple. And the pictures that they have, Hindu goddess and goddesses and Guru Nanak also there. So it was fascinating. Just remembering that visit of mine because just and the look view of Kartarpur. Uh, so yeah, it was fascinating. I was in Kerala in early uh, uh, early November, and Guru Nanak visited Cochin, or he didn't visit Cochin?
No, I mean, these, as I said earlier, all these visits and all, I've said this in the earlier sessions also, it's like Guru Nanak has written nothing about his life. So how are you creating these, right? So even we are creating
Right,
something is based on records written by the
right,
people of faith who've written
right,
it about 70 years after his life. Up till what we've taken is the line is we've drawn the line at 150 years after his life. So these are
right,
people of faith writing. In today's world, his narrative continues to expand, continues to expand. I've been in South India. Cochin, I mean, I know exactly the people who have suddenly planted the story, and now suddenly a place has been built, and give it another 10 years, Guru Nanak will appear there. So that's how stories evolve, right?
right, right,
Our
right,
objective is not there. Our objective is to try
right,
and keep a philosophy out of whatever text, the oldest you've got, and you're trying to understand a
right,
philosophy. Uh,
right,
the oldest records which we have followed, also the person who's reconstructing it is Dr. Kirpal Singh in his analytical study of Janam Sakhi traditions.
right,
The fact is, Kerala is a very weak link because he's constructing the account, but it's not found in the original writings between 70 to 150 years.
right, right,
So, but
right,
yes, coming from Sri Lanka into Rameshwaram, how would you want jump and reach somewhere in Middle India, right? So something has to be
right.
constructed. So then
Yes,
what happens is what Kirpal Singh has done is he's gone and looked at where these the Udasin tradition, which tradition which has been kind of now it's kind of finished and it's outcasted, but that tradition sites which were there in Kerala, he's kind of joined them, but actually it's like saying Guru Nanak visited Nepal. Actually, the reality is all the shrines there are the Udasin shrines given in as land grants to the Udasin sadhus who followed after Rani Jindan, after the collapse of Lahore Darbar and Ranjit Singh's wife comes there, they were
right,
given
right,
land grants there. Now,
right,
because there's a shrine existing there, so today you build
right,
it up as Guru Nanak visited there. Well, it adds revenue model. If Guru Nanak is there, then
right,
more people will visit, right? So that's what it is.
right.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing.
Yep, 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 yep. So, you talked of, we talked of different places. So, in fact, Akhtar's question is, uh, you know, why Guru Nanak went to these places? I assume you mean these specific places. And that was also something that I was wondering about. Some of them are to have spiritual dialogues with some specific people, right? So, that was one thing that I've gleaned from watching these episodes. But maybe you can elaborate on that.
Why did he go to these places?
These specific places.
Well, look, I mean, uh, he was on a spiritual quest. I think he's trying to get to certain points which are in those years
Right.
spiritual, which had spiritual gravitas, right? So, for instance, Kailash Mansarovar in the Northern,
Yeah.
Jagannath Temple in Odisha, eh, people from Punjab were going there, right?
Yeah.
Kailash Mansarovar, people were going there, right?
Right.
There are places in South India, people were going there, right?
Right.
Rameshwaram, such a former Mecca,
Right.
Medina, people were
Yeah.
going there. So spiritualists were going there. Okay, I think he's trying to go to those places as the furthest point. To get there, you're going to go through some other places, right? And of course, your disposition then, because you're traveling slowly, you will go and stay and you'll interact and you'll see the places where other spiritualists are congregating because his whole idea
Right.
was to have dialogues, right? So the
Dialogue.
whole journey
Okay.
becomes more meaningful if he's striking these dialogues as he's traveling, and that's subjective.
Yeah. Mandeep, do you want to get yourself unmuted and ask your question? Meanwhile, somebody's asking, did you edit all this yourself?
Look, filmmaking is not a person one person's job. Okay, filmmaking is you can have a product like in any creative space. You can, okay, let's say an artist who's drawing something on a piece of paper. The
Right.
thought, the commissioning agent or whatever commissioner, the person who's commissioning that artwork, and you would do it yours. That person will create it, right? That person's skill is in the hand. Filmmaking, there's a first thing is thought. Whose thought is it? Why would you pick up a story? Will it be able to last the time? Will you make money out of it? Will you give it free of charge? Those are bigger questions. Where will your narrative come from, right? And so on and so forth. The thought is, of course, me and my wife's teams, right? As you know, both of us are actually leading this whole project, and we've been doing layers of work before this, so it naturally evolved. So thought,
Right.
absolutely. Now, filmmaking will require money. You got to feed people, you got to travel. So if I say I'm skipping the editing part, but I'm saying if I created it, well, what about the funders, the people who gave the money without asking any return on their money because they thought this guy's done something, he might be able to do something. They have a role to play in it. Now you went with a cameraman, you went with a drone operator, you went. What about the people in these hard to access geographies who granted you visa because it's not possible to get to these visas which will actually allow you to actually go inside freely and film, right? It's impossible. Like, journalist visas are not given these days, right? And we're not journalists, but we're going to create something, you'll fall into the journalist category. Let's thank them also. Okay, once you've created the entire repository of 18 months of travel of data and you've come back with 75 terabytes of data, now you got to look at the data 18 months back, what you clicked, you've forgotten everything, and you go create the narrative because you've gone and film something in the field. You got to intertwine that current narrative with the past narrative, right? So that's how the whole story is unfolding. Because today, what I'm observing, and there's a narrative in the past, and then the spiritual aspect, the singers who are singing, you got to bring all that. So thanks to the singers, thanks to the musicians, right? Then comes the editor. So, like a musician has to sing, like a cameraman has to hold the camera, Amardeep cannot do everything, right? Amardeep is not a singer. Editing is a skill, right? Amardeep's vision is there, wife's vision is there, but the editor has to be a professional editor. If I'm going to start editing it and you think I'm going to create a quality product, sure, you're not going to be able to see it. The question would not be there. You'll be going to sleep to say what the hell kind of an editing is. Of course, you need professional editors to do it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good way to think about it. You sort of laid out the full process in itself, so that's very helpful. Nilashi, I'll just come to you. Let's just see if Mandeep can ask her question herself or himself. Oh, mic isn't working. Okay, so actually, I'll just pick up Mandeep's question. Uh, how does Guru Nanak's mentorship in this episode reflect the broader theme of spiritual guidance across different faiths and cultures?
Sorry, can you just repeat that once again?
Yeah. How does Guru Nanak's mentorship in this episode reflect the broader theme of spiritual guidance across different faiths and cultures?
Well,
So,
Guru Nanak's entire, I don't know who's this asked this question. Can I
Mandeep,
know? Huh?
Mandeep,
Okay, Mandeep is from which school?
uh, Sunbeam Lehertara.
Okay, so Varanasi. Mandeep, have you attended any of the earlier sessions? Just write yes
Mic
or
is
no.
not working. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, all right. This question is, I think, coming from Mandeep with him not having attended the previous sessions. He may have attended one or two. But if you go to this website called thegurunanak.com and start seeing the episodes, you'll understand we are on the 23rd episode. I mean, this is like literally coming to nearly 2 years of series being played, one episode a month, right? Guru Nanak is not about any religion. He's boxed into a religion. Custodians of religion have actually claimed him. He's a free soul. He's a free man. His mind is absolutely free. He's on a quest, right? And socio-political situations of the community that were following him resulted in the development of boundaries of a community, which is fine, which is also the tradition I adhere to because I'm a Sikh, because, yeah, my forefathers picked up the hand for the socio-political situation that was happening, all that beside. But Guru Nanak's entire pursuit is about unboxing, bringing people together, not people only, just bringing the entire creation together, bringing that insight, right? His dialogues are to basically eliminate caste, eliminate gender biases, eliminate ups and downs, recognize everyone is unique, give them the space, right? Uh, that's what he stands for. And this comes out clearly by the 23rd episode. If you've seen it, this is his entire essence of the message. 24th episode will culminate with this last verse, which is being sung in that 24th episode. Next month, we'll see, is summarizing this whole thing. So his whole interaction, if he was a preacher, if he was a preacher in the traditional sense, he would be sitting in one place. People will follow him, touch his feet, and take. We create these things that we think we'll touch his feet or this and that. I think he's a man on quest. He's not the Guru Nanak made in the pictures today. He was a farmer. He has to be a very lean skinned person. He traveled for 22 years across 22,000 close to kilometers, probably an estimate, right? He has to be very, very lean and fit. That's the Guru Nanak, right? He would not be the guy sitting like a General Baba sits today, and in the last days he's telling you whatever you're earning, share. He wouldn't have built castles around himself, right? He's a man who's going across people of different faiths, different traditions, different localities, different cultures to bring in this diversity of thought process into an understanding to put forward as his understanding of the thought process because it was so compelling, so great that many people followed him.
Right. Thank you for that. So, yeah, just give us a minute. Nilashi has been waiting for a while. I'll come to you, Astha and Talat. Nilashi?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Amardeep. Thanks, sir. It's incredible the kind of questions the documentary is raising. I was thinking if you have ever faced any backlash from schools or let's say universities for raising such deep questions which maybe institutions do not really wish to raise among students. Something like, what's the purpose of your life?
If you are saying the right thing, the person who's going to raise the question knows the person is raising a wrong question. I mean, I'm being sorry, I'm not cutting a question. No, so to answer your question, no, I've not faced any problem, not about this docu-series alone. I've been on this path for 13 years now. Did first the mapping across Pakistan, across 126 cities and villages of the legacies that were lost there, two books, Lost Heritage, docu-series, 5 languages. It's had over 4.5 million views in broader sense from the earlier, not the current YouTube, but where we are putting it in a different place till now. It has had about 4.5 million views. We are now working on Oneness and Diversity project where we're bringing the learning from diverse Indic saints, not in the manner which I have been learning and seeing in the Gurdwaras and other places. People are showing me a very God-centric kind of translations because these saints are talking in a metaphoric language that applies to a modern context. There was actually that time also it was very modern. They were also very modern. He says that we have boxed them and we've lost the essence of their teachings. Once you do this body of work, in 13 years, I've not had a single pushback from any school, any institution. In fact, my uh, people want to hear more and more. I travel so often that my work is suffering, right? People want to call me to actually hear about these things. And to a point that as a single person who's creating more, single person in terms of vision, but there's a huge team behind it, right? But I'm the face of these things. My vision to create things during my lifetime is getting hampered because there's so much of demand coming in. People want to listen. I don't charge for these things. I just work on the philanthropic model, do good, goodness will attract it. And if the work has to get done, we'll get. We've never faced financial problems to get the work done, but does not mean there's no problem. So I'm coming to an end to this whole thing. While we've not faced the pushback problem, we've had intense amount of other problems. Without problems, no work can be of a quality because things would be then that means very easy. Anyone can do it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So anyone can do it. And then what's so different about it, right? So the problems are of a different nature. The biggest problem is the establishments. Establishments are basically your uh, political forces which think they control a certain boundary of a nation, be it this, that, or other one, anywhere. I'm not naming anyone. They will not see you with your intent. They have rules, regulations. The intelligence officers will be after you because how did you go and do this work in Pakistan? No one will look at the work, right? But they'll question you. Pakistan guys will say, why did you show this in your book, A Broken Monument, right? Why did you call it lost heritage? So ban him. You'll get banned in India because you've gone and done some work there. I've had very intense actually challenges even in my country of my birth because people don't want to understand. The politicians don't want to understand. Politicians don't have time to look at the work. Intelligence agencies, all they need to do is just put a red mark. Don't understand the intent. Intense amount of problems, right? How will you raise the money? Intense amount of problem because you're not charging it. But when you look at the whole output of this 13 years of life, it's worth living every moment. Every moment. This life's entire actually cream has been these 13 years because what you've given is the right thing. Whether people will understand in your lifetime or they'll understand after your lifetime, it really doesn't matter.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's incredible. Thank you so much. I would have taken a chance to ask you a little about your childhood, but maybe other students are
We'll,
waiting and I don't
yeah,
want.
we'll come
Can
back
I
to that.
can I suggest, Jugjiv, to
Yeah.
Nilashi and to the group out here, can you please forward that unfolding identity, that 30-minute video, especially to Nilashi because she's asking that question, rather
Okay.
than me talking about it? If she just goes through that 30-minute video, Nilashi, this video has just been released about a week back, and it was filmed by this Boho Foundation in USA. And I've just stopped my heart in that. In fact, it's about identities not so much external but internal and how that process of understanding whole thing that goes through because everyone has an identity. It's not me that looking at a Sikh. Everyone has an identity. Everyone wants to know who that person is. And this whole journey from a kid to where I stand today is covered beautifully in that 30-minute video. I would encourage every member of the youth out here to see it if you can, because there are nuggets and snippets inside this that will be valuable for your life.
That's
Where
great.
can we find it?
I will
Uh,
send it to you, Nilashi.
Sure,
I'll
sure.
send it to you and I'll
Thank
post
you.
it on our group as well.
Thank
Uh,
you so much.
uh, Astha, you want to go next?
Yes, sir. Good morning, and Jai Hind.
Okay.
I have one question that Guru Nanak rejected blind rituals, right?
yeah.
So, if he visited today's digital world, which modern habits might he call new rituals?
Well, you're asking me to tell you which modern habits will he call as rituals. First and foremost, he'll be utterly disappointed by the people who are following him. Let's start with that.
But why?
Because we are not following what he's actually said. We are doing everything that he opposes. I'm not talking about digital. I'm talking about first the people who claim to follow him. Because he's questioning, if you see his life, he's questioning gender biases, he's questioning caste system. He's a social reformer, and it's not about him. The entire bhakti period, Nanak is just one bit of a broader bhakti period of the entire northern Indian belt, which includes Kabir, Joydev, Ravidas, Baba Farid. Nanak is one piece of that. Nanak's contribution is that he started documenting things. right? Which in those days, the oral tradition used to be there, people never used to document. And that came to reside in a huge repository. People saw the merit in that. People flocked him. What they flocked was a big force. Today it's fragmented, it's divided, it's boxed into a religion, it's reduced to Punjab. People, the adherents of Nanak, will be the most disappointing people that Nanak himself will be actually disappointed about, right? Because it's not what he stands for. We are divided by caste, we are divided by genders, we are highly materialistic, and I'm being critical about myself. But if that applies to Nanak's adherents who have failed him, it applies to the entire society. Let's start with that, okay? Because then next comes is social media. Well, social media is a habit, not a ritual. Ritual is a thoughtless practice. Ritual basically gets associated with spirituality and religion. Habit is beyond that. I mean, there are habits of eating food at a particular time. There's a habit of doing something else. That necessarily is not right or wrong. I mean, there are habits of everything, right? But when a habit is associated with religion or spirituality, that's what generally in this particular context we'll call as ritual, right? So, if you're taking it socially, Nanak stood against social issues, right? He was a social reformer, as I said earlier. If people are thoughtlessly doing something, he was standing up against it, right? Now, if social media results in materialism, you're pronouncing your ego, your instant recognition, instant gratification, he will write spirituality around that because he will try and ground you. Kabir will do that. Farid will do that because he'll try and ground you. The whole idea of the bhakti tradition is, get this right. There's nothing wrong with materialism. There's nothing wrong with family life. There's nothing wrong being an active participant in this world. What is wrong is living in a spiral of desires. Desires for what is right or wrong, I even don't know, but desires that is only self-centered, egocentric, are the desires that these saints try and actually caution you from, because there has to be a bigger purpose for this existence. And that bigger purpose, when you start looking beyond you, if your desire is to do good to the others, that's a good desire. Does that mean goodness will mean you give up everything? No, because if you give up everything, you'll not even have $1 to do goodness, right? So your active participation is absolutely there. Every saint, be it Kabir, you may think Kabir was not an industrialist. Well, in his own might, sitting in his small hut, just simply weaving a piece of cloth and maybe taking 1 month to weave a piece of cloth was his industry. He was an industrialist. Ravidas, a cobbler, going and sitting and repairing shoes, maybe 1 shoe a day, fine. He was not scaling his industry, but he was an industrialist. Nanak going and farming, he was a farmer, right? They were active participants in the society, because when you participate, you fend for your stomach, you fend for your family's stomach, you keep something aside to give to the society. That's the model that they're talking about. So if your social media is going to disengage you, it's all going to be about yourself, all about your own gratification, then something is breaking. Then that ritual he's going to question.
Yes, I truly appreciate your time, sir. I don't remember, but in my junior classes, I have read one doha, you can say, that Guru Nanak emphasized Naam Japna, Kirt Karna, Vand Chakna, something like that.
Yes.
So, how could these 3 principles help solve problems in today's world?
Well, I mean, they are very sound principles. You see, Kirat Karna is, as I just said, being an active contributor to society, economic contributor. That's what it means in simple terms. Earning your own living and creating a surplus in the society. The surplus not to lie in your bank only. Yeah, for a rainy day, some amount needs to lie because you need to be self-sufficient, right? But then if you have some surplus, putting it to good causes. There's also a writing by him, akali daan kijiye. Daan bhi karna hai na, akal se karo. I mean, just because you see someone who's got all the limbs and is just begging around, don't put something out there. Put for the right causes. Even daan, philanthropy, has to be thought and given for the right causes where it multiplies on its own. And if you see Nanak's second episode of the series, there's this, thing associated with his life that when he was in Sultanpur as a young kid and he was serving there, the grains would be in abundance. He would just give tera, tera, tera. These are religious people creating these narratives. There's nothing surplus. You have to create a surplus, either out of a good conduct or out of your hard labor. Look, I have worked in American Express for 25 years of my life. I've toiled around, right? This 13 years of my life, I'm running and creating things. I'm still creating economic value for the people from a spiritual space who want to understand. But we don't charge. We created it based on philanthropic support by the people who support us. But to reach there, my own image had to be created, right? And that image creation takes time, because when you do philanthropy in your own way, people gain trust. Philanthropy runs on trust. So when he's giving grains, as saying tera, tera, giving, distributing, question is, where were the grains coming in his store from? Surely someone was philanthropist who was putting the grains there because saw the goodness in him. He's worth trusting. So if I give my money, he'll do something good about it. How did I create this docu-series which has costed over $3 million US, right? With a single dollar raised from any bank. People have given because they've believed in me and my intention to go do the right thing, and we've given. So goodness begets goodness. So kirat karo means earn through honest means and through right labor. Have the mindset to share. Kirat karo, one chako, last is naam japo. Naam japo is the most misunderstood word in this current context of the gurus fiefdoms that have got created. Because everyone's looking for their own escape route. It's like a pressure cooker, right? When enough pressure is there, the valve goes through and, the entire hava starts coming out. You're looking for your vent system. You think someone's going to come and save you. Well, it's a ongoing process of reflection, contemplation. Naam is very situational. For someone, repetition of a name may be a way. For someone else, it may not be, right? Situationally, as long naam is basically reflection. Reflection into situations that come through your experiences, and contemplate. Japna is to repeat, reflect on it. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What could I learn from this? Experiential wisdom, situations, they shape you up. They shape you up. That's the Naam Japna that Nanak is talking about. He's not talking about what his people today are doing and just sitting and just holding a bead and actually going around things. No, that's not the Naam Japna he's talking about. Because that's a very kind of a taking you away from the society. That's not what his philosophy is. So yes, these three principles, but these three principles applied in the right frame of mind, if you understand. Economic contributor, sharing, because benevolence begets benevolence. You do the right thing, it'll come back to you. And the third is reflective contemplation through experiences that you face. My experiences are not your experiences. Your life is going to be different than my experiences. But as long as your heart is in the right mind, and it's not easy. There's no easy formula out there. Life is basically a tornado. But as long as you're aware that you are going to learn from any situations, you will fail many a times. That amongst the bedrock of failure is success, right? So that's what Naam Japna is.
Thanks.
Definitely amazing. Thank you.
Sir,
No, Akrit,
sir,
I'll
I
come
have
to
a
you.
question.
I know. I'll come to you. Just let Talat ask first.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Little louder would be great, but yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
I know, Akrit. Just wait, Akrit. Just wait. Just let Talat finish.
Sir, as we all know that today's generation is very different from the old generation. So can you tell me that how can Guru Nanak Dev Ji's teaching guide today's generation?
We are all humans. Our mind has not changed. Spiritualists are addressing your mind, not the buildings, not the cars, not the planes, not your clothing, not your scent. At a grassroots level, inside a mind, we are still the same primate animal that we were 2000 years back. We do evolve, but essence of reaction, essence of situations, how we respond to, keep a mind idle. I mean, Guru Nanak's first composition, he's talking about reflective, soche soch na hoi, right? You keep thinking, keep your mind empty. Why are there meditative practices? Keep your mind empty. Thoughts will keep coming this way, that way, that way. They'll take you this way, that way. The spiritualists are trying to train your mind. But training the mind as a seclusion from society is not what Guru Nanak believes. He wants you to be an active participant and while being a saint and a soldier at the same time, right? Soldier does not mean holding a gun. Soldier means being an active participant in your life, right? And being a saint in your mindset, a sage and a warrior not in terms of sitting on a horse, but a warrior to actually embrace life at every moment, right? That's what they're teaching. So the messages are not different. Messages still apply today. When I read and look at Nanak's every message, like he's talking about that donkey, right? In today's episode, there was a donkey, right?
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Has donkey's behavior and how the mind behaves changed over the years? It is still the same. These priceless wisdoms are very valuable, provided you don't get stuck inside the boundaries of what the religion defines as this is right, this is wrong, because that's what they oppose, and keep a free mind and keep moving forward with an objective to learn. In fact, Nanak's, I'm not promoting any religion, by the way, right? But yet, the word Sikh was supposed to be Shishya, a learner. Today it's a faith. Today it's a boxed religion, right? No, but the beauty of that is imagine a mind of a person who comes to him and says, I want to learn. The humbleness of wanting to learn. That's what it stands for. You be a Muslim, a Hindu, a Sikh, a Christian, whatever you are, you be an animist, you become a nature worshipper. If you're a learner, that's what he wants you to be. Now, learner does not mean a teacher coming and teaching you. You need someone to hold your hands, but experiences are going to teach you and you're going to learn from that. So you're an empowered guru. You are the empowered disciple. That's what it means.
In fact, today's episode talks about Nanak talks about not giving in to comforts and facing challenges, and that's been the same. Our mind, our brain is always trying to trying to fool you into giving in to comforts and running away from challenges because brain seeks comfort, and that hasn't changed. Uh, you know, over millions of years actually. So. Akrit, you want to ask your question now?
यस सर सर अगर गुरु नानक जी अ, सभी पर्सन को इक्वल नहीं मानते तो अभी की जनरेशन में क्या होता
अगर गुरु नानक सबको इक्वल नहीं मानते ना तो गुरु नानक को कोई कोई मानता नहीं।
ओके सर
आंसर मिल गया आपको। आप किसी को क्यों फॉलो करते हो? आप किसी को फॉलो करते हो क्योंकि उसमें कुछ अच्छाई नजर आती है, क्योंकि आप वो अच्छाई को अपनी जिंदगी में लेकर आना चाहते हो। अगर गुरु नानक का विजन ये होता कि सब एक नहीं है और सब में ऊपर नीचे है, और मैं उसको इनकरेज करना चाहता हूं जो आज की कैपिटलिज्म करती है, जो आज की सोसाइटी करती है, जो आज की पॉलिटिशियंस करते हैं, तो पॉलिटिशियन को कितने लोग आप में से फॉलो करोगे? पॉलिटिशियन को आपको वोट देना पड़ता है, वो मजबूरी का नाम महात्मा गांधी देना पड़ता है। सिस्टम रन्स लाइक दैट। बट क्या आप एक पॉलिटिशियन के कॉन्डक्ट को आप कहोगे ये चीज मेरे लाइफ में होनी चाहिए? आई मीन हैंड टू हार्ट आप कोई नहीं चाहता कि मैं ऐसा हूं। तो गुरु नानक अगर उसको फॉलो करते थे, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करते थे, तो तभी लोग उनको फॉलो करते थे।
So,
सर may I ask a question?
yeah, just one sec, Efra, just one sec. So, in the chat, Akrit has asked another question, which is asking, why did Guru Nanak think that everybody is equal?
Why does he think that everybody is equal?
Yep.
Who's asking this?
Akrit is only asking. He just asked this question right now. Akrit, he's only asking. He asked.
So your question is, Akrit, if can you speak or can I converse with you or?
Yeah.
Okay. Akrit, my question to you is, help me understand your mind. And there's nothing wrong or right. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to understand your mind to be able to answer this correctly, right? So आपने पूछा, why does he think everyone is equal, right?
Yes,
what
sir.
What makes Akrit you think that that you may be different than someone else or I may be different than someone else? Help me understand that, and then I'll answer your question. And it could be a very very logical answer, and there's nothing right or wrong. But help me understand, why do you think you are different than someone else?
सर क्योंकि सभी का दिमाग सर एक जैसा नहीं होता। सब कोई भी कुछ भी करेगा, जैसे मैं कुछ अलग कर रहा हूँ और सर आप कुछ अलग कर रहे हैं, तो सर इसके लिए बस।
तो अक्रेत, आप जहां पे आ रहे हो ना, इसको इंग्लिश में हम कहते हैं डाइवर्सिटी। ठीक है ना, डाइवर्सिटी है। तो पूरी जगत में, दुनिया में डाइवर्सिटी तो है ही है ना। एक एक आम जो है वो अमरूद तो नहीं बन सकता, और एक अमरूद जो है वो खरबूजा तो नहीं बन सकता, एक खरबूजा शेर तो नहीं बन सकता। डाइवर्सिटी तो है ही है ना। सबकी अपनी वजूद है, सबकी अपनी होंद है, सबकी अपनी एक एक वो है। बट उस डाइवर्सिटी में अगर आप इसको नीचे ले जाते हैं, जैसे कि एक समुंदर की एक वेव है, समुंदर का पानी है, अब हवा आती है तो समुंदर के पानी में बहुत सारी लहरें उठ रही हैं, आपको लहरें नजर आती हैं, आपको लगता है ये है समुंदर का पानी है, राइट। अगर वो ना हो, आपको एक स्टिल सा एक तालाब नजर आएगा। तो ये सब जो जो वेव्स उठ रही हैं, जो डाइवर्सिटी है अलग अलग चीज की, क्योंकि हर वेव अलग से होती है, राइट। और हर वेव कुछ टाइम के लिए उठती है और फिर उसके बाद खत्म हो जाती है। उसी तरीके से मैं कुछ टाइम के लिए आ रहा हूं, आपका दिमाग कुछ टाइम के लिए आ रहा है, किसी और का दिमाग किसी टाइम के लिए आ रहा है, वो भी उतने 70 साल में, 50 साल में, 80 साल में खत्म हो जाएगा। तो हम एक वेव की तरह आ रहे हैं। तो इस वेव के पीछे जो है वो क्या है, इसको आप समझने की कोशिश करें। तो जब आप इसको समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि नीचे की तह पर जो समुंदर का जो पानी है उसी से वेव बन रही है, तो नीचे की तह पर जो हम सब की एक एनर्जी, जहां से हम आ रहे हैं, कुछ बन रहे हैं और उसी में खत्म हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि हम किसी भी चीज से नहीं आए हैं। हम कुछ टाइम के लिए हल्ला कर रहे हैं अपने अपने दिमाग से, और उसके बाद हम उसी में खत्म हो जाएंगे, हम कुछ नहीं बनेंगे। तो आपको समझ में आना पड़े लग जाएगा कि एक्चुअली हम एक उसी सोर्स से आ रहे हैं, जिससे एक अमरूद भी निकल रहा है, जिसमें से एक शेर भी निकल रहा है, जिसमें से एक अकृत भी निकल रहा है, और जिसमें से एक अमरदीप भी निकल रहा है। जब आप ये समझ जाएंगे तो आपको जो डाइवर्सिटी है उसमें आपको एक एक वो चीज नजर आएगी कि सब चीज हम जुड़े हुए हैं एक दूसरे से। आपकी होंद और आपका दिमाग है, उसी की वजह से ये दुनिया चल रही है। किसी और का दिमाग है, उसी की वजह से हमारी ब्यूटी आ रही है, उसी की वजह से दुनिया चल रही है। एक शेर जो है बकरी को खाता है, बकरी घास को खाती है, उस घास को कोई कीड़ा खाता है, पूरा इकोसिस्टम चल रहा है। हम सब एक दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट हैं, लेकिन उस डिपेंडेंसी के पीछे जो एनर्जी है वो तो एक ही है। इसलिए हमको वो चीज समझनी है। तो जब हम कहते हैं, जब नानक साहब कह रहे हैं कि, और कबीर साहब कह रहे हैं, और फरीद साहब कह रहे हैं कि कोई कास्ट नहीं है, तो आप कहो कि मैं ठाकुर हूं, और मैं ब्राह्मण हूं, तो मैं शूद्र हूं, और मैं आपसे बड़ा हूं, मैं आपसे छोटा हूं, मैं मेल हूं तो मैं फीमेल हूं, तो फिर ये तो डाइवर्सिटी तो है ही है। इस डाइवर्सिटी के पीछे जो माइंड सेट है वो क्या कह रहा है कि नहीं, हम हैं सब कुछ, लेकिन सबको एक दूसरे की जरूरत है एग्जिस्ट करने के लिए। उसको एक्सेप्ट करना ही इनका मकसद है। डज दैट आंसर योर क्वेश्चन?
Yeah, thank you for
अकृत,
that.
आपको जवाब मिला कोई नहीं?
यस सर, मिल गया।
थैंक यू। आगे बढ़ाना इसको।
हाँ जी, इफ्रा, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question to you is that what is the one value from Guru Nanak's travel that you feel is most relevant today? I want one value.
देखो जी, there's only one value that I've understood. I think a lot of my life was wasted in trying to understand something that we should have been understanding right from beginning. कि जब हम कहते हैं ना कि ये जो प्रॉब्लम ही स्टार्ट होती है, हम कहते हैं कि गॉड, मेरा गॉड आपके गॉड से डिफरेंट है, और गॉड कहाँ है, बैठा है ऊपर, बैठा है कि नीचे बैठा है कि लेफ्ट बैठा है, किसी को कुछ नहीं पता। सबकी फिलॉसफी है, सबकी थ्योरीज है, राइट। जो मैंने अभी अकृत को जवाब दिया है कि इन सब एग्जिस्टेंस के पीछे एक ही सोर्स है। उस सोर्स को अगर हम समझना शुरू कर जाएं तो हमें सब कुछ जो है एक ही नजर आता है। दैट्स द वैल्यू सिस्टम यू टेक अवे, द वननेस। जो गुरु नानक कह रहे हैं एक ओंकार, राइट। जैसे आप इस्लाम में हम कहते हैं अल्लाह, अल्लाह भी क्या है, अल्लाह वन, अव्वल
Yes, sir.
अल्लाह, मतलब सबसे पहला जो सोर्स एनर्जी का। अब अल्लाह को आप भगवान बना दो, गॉड बना दो, मौला बना दो, या कि अल्लाह को कहो कि आप एनर्जी है जिससे सब कुछ निकल रही है, या आप विष्णु ले लो, ब्रह्मा ले लो, कुछ भी ले लो, ये नाम रखे गए हैं। उनके पीछे एक ही सोर्स है। अगर वो सोर्स हम समझ रहे हैं कि एक ही है, हम सब कुछ टाइम के लिए यहां आ रहे हैं, तो वैल्यू सिस्टम क्या हो जाती है, एवरीथिंग फॉलोज बिहाइंड इट। दैट मीन्स आई विल नॉट डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन पीपल, आई विल नॉट डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन, आई विल ट्राई नॉट, आई एम स्टिल अ ह्यूमन बीइंग, I will still make mistakes, right? But I will try and actually rise above these differences, right? Whether it be differences of caste, male, female, of wealth and no wealth, ये सब चीज समझ में आ गई। सबसे फंडामेंटल वैल्यू सिस्टम है। Rest is all doesn't matter because rest is all situational.
Yeah, sir. In every religion, it is told that we don't have to discriminate anybody.
Yeah. और क्या है? And why do people follow then these leaders of religion, right? Why do they follow? Because they are teaching something good. वो बात दूसरी है, we are not able to understand it.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Disha, you can get be unmuted and you can ask your question. But the second question, I also haven't understood. So, if you can elaborate on that, that will be good. The first question, Disha, that you asked, Amardeep just answered
Yes.
as to why Guru Nanak visited all these places. He was in a spiritual quest, right? And he went to meet, in many places, he went to meet spiritual leaders so they could have a dialogue. Your other question, if you want to ask, you go ahead.
Can I
Yes,
just
sir.
add there? Can I just
Yeah,
add there?
sure, please.
Remind, we are coming on 23rd episode, but if you see the first episode, in the first opening verse of Nanak, that answer question is itself answered by through his words. He says, Jab lag duniya rahiye Nanak, kich suniye kich kahiye. Nanak is saying, till such time we exist in this body form, in this world, seek and impart, seek and impart. But seek, kich suniye kich kahiye. Listen, seek is listen. किच सुनिए किच कहिए बाद में impart afterwards after you got it right. Don't impart before you're seeking, right? So seek impart. That's the only way you grow in life. I think that's what he was trying to do. That's all. He's not passing judgments. He's not creating religions. He was just a good guy whom a lot of people saw value in, and they flocked around him. And look, that goodness created an empire at one stage. It created a lot of good things, right? But also everything, like anything good that gets created, if the people following it don't understand it, it also starts diminishing, right? Which is happening with everywhere, every place, every society, every religion, every country. Nothing unique. Because someone asked this question in today's time, right? I said in modern world, and I say ultimately we are addressing the mind. Whatever might evolve, whatever might change, whatever might get created, the most fundamental building block that we're trying to address is the mind out here, nothing else. That doesn't change. Sai, so your next question?
Yeah, Disha asking about,
How
Nanak concept. Yeah, go ahead, Disha.
how does the Guru Nanak approach the concept of equality and social justice?
Oh, I think I've addressed that quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've addressed that quite a bit. If you see the series also, make some effort to see it. I mean, every moment he's addressing that, whether it be from whichever facet,
Gender,
really addressing that, I think I'll skip that
caste,
question, right?
economically well off versus the others. So yeah, they're all levels. He's focused on equality and social justice. So you want to elaborate your question, Disha, a little bit, or we can go ahead to Shaurya. Okay, Shaurya. Shaurya, you want to ask a question? So, one of the things that Guru Nanak said, and which Amardeep keeps saying every time, is about self-reflection, right? He says you go through something, you experience something, you have to think about it. And that's a key thing that we keep saying in our good schools allowance and in Sunday school, that you have to think and then make these decisions for yourself, right? So reflection, self-reflection is your key to growth, right? Okay, anybody else? Any other questions? I have one, Amardeep. Uh, you know, how the concept of oneness to me seems is similar to Brahma coming out of Advait Vedanta, right? Would you say it's the same, different?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
The no, because I shy from boxing anything into any kind of a philosophy or ideology. because that's the danger of now proclaiming mine is better than yours. That's why I shy to say that. But the root of any sane thought ties you back into that one source. Vedant as a philosophy is not about necessarily about Brahma. These are manifestations, these are words, these are idols given to make things easy for you. Vedant, as one of the six pillars of the Indic philosophy, as I said earlier in today's session, was Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, and so on and so forth. Vedant is a very structured way of taking you to the example of saying that within the various waves, there is a substratum at the below, which is one ocean. Yeah, I mean, if you want to say that, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But there are certain differences. The difference is it's a school of thought that has not given us the philosophy of active participation.
Right.
It's a philosophy. If you think philosophy is going to get you the life, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But Vedant, go into a monastic environment, sit out there, go through these various analysis paralysis of your mind. But then what? It's great all on a bookish knowledge. How do you hold the situation by the bull by the horns and you go and actually address it? It's an active participation. Vedant doesn't deny that. But neither does it actually promote that. It's silent about it. So the people who are studying Vedant are just going and sitting in the schools and going through books and books, and they're wowed by the philosophy. I'm also wowed by the philosophy, but I see the same philosophy everywhere. It's how do you approach it? How do you implement it? How do you actually bring that so-called oneness or the so-called underlying being essence? Do you bring it into your caste discrimination? Well, I don't want to say it, but many Vedantists are of a particular caste. And will they differentiate? They may not differentiate openly, but the caste system is actually predicated on differentiations, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit complicated. It's a chicken and egg thing, right? I mean, I therefore don't want to say it. I mean, essence is the same everywhere. Essence is the same everywhere. And therefore, I shy from even using the word Sikhism, because the moment you put an ism around Nanak, you've already said that mine is better than yours. No, why should it be? And Islam has the same principles. Shaivite has the same principles. Vaishnavite has the same principles. A follower of Nanak may have the same principle. So many divisions of Christianity will have be goodness, love their neighbor as you love. I mean, as you would love anyone at your place, right? Same principles, right?
Yeah, fair enough. So I think today's episode was a great example of Nanak living some of his philosophy, right? In terms of being a part of the world, how he spent the last 18 years of his life in terms as a farmer. So Disha, you want to elaborate your question, because seems we've answered it, or Amardeep's answered it, but if you want to elaborate on your question, we are happy to do that. So
what's the
just in
question?
itself, I mean, all the examples Amardeep gave on equality and social justice. So Disha
What's
is
the
not
question?
happy with the answer. So if you want to elaborate on your question or ask another question related to that, that's a little more specific, maybe that will help.
What's the
Disha?
question?
It's about equality and social justice, but she's saying it's not answered. So I'll
It's
just
not
ask.
answering thing? Okay. Then I need to understand her. I mean, like, when
Yeah. That's the point. Let's understand.
I'm not shying from the answer. I mean, it's just that.
Yeah. So Disha, do you want to explain a little bit more or ask, a question in another way so that Amardeep understands the question?
I mean, look, I'm assuming if you've not found the answer, then you know what? Try, and you'll not find it in the next 1 week or so. Try and see the series slowly over the next 2 years, 3 years. You'll find it's laden with the answers to this question everywhere, right?
Right.
And you'll find the next episode when we'll end it next month. I mean, Anand Narayan Mula sings the last composition. I mean, it's sung by someone else, but it's written by Anand Narayan Mula. Jahan ki bujhti nigahoं ko jagmagata hai baam Nanak, right? Nanak's wisdom is actually lighting this creation's uh, light of wisdom, which is now fading away, right? And then he says, na ko ucha, na ko nicha, na ko pak, na koi napak. Now, pak typically gets associated with Pakistan, but pak means pure, right? Na koi pure, na koi no na pure, na koi pak, na koi napak. Now, do you mean to say napak? That means he's promoting people with no purity. Well, the no purity is also a diversity in the existence, right? Na koi ucha, na koi nicha, na koi pak, na koi napak, right? Basically, what he goes to say, everyone is unique. Let's just take it as a learning.
Yeah, Meenakshi.
My thing is, for centuries, we've been talking about equality and social justice, and we haven't reached that stage yet. Even
Will not
today's
reach.
in today's world,
Will not reach.
will not reach. Yeah. So, so the thing is, all this pursuit of, I mean, is it becoming pointless, or
No,
should we still? Okay.
no. I mean, way back in 1960s, the American space program had this pursuit of landing on the moon, very far away, very distant dream, right? Right? We
Right.
did reach the moon. How many times has humanity gone back to the moon, right? Does that mean the effort should stop? Does that mean the effort should not continue, right? I'm not promoting moon because I think it's a sheer wastage of, it's an exploration which is there, but you're burning so much of social fuel. But I'm giving you an example, a metaphoric example, right? That no, it goes back to the question that earlier that kid asked, right? The hum, and I said the answer is the human mind. The human mind is primate. It's never going to evolve. We at the inherently our social instincts as of us as humans, so-called refined, are still animals. Each one is trying to fend for themselves. Each one is trying to survive for themselves. And as long as you will remain as in this body form, your own existence will be the prime thing before the others. Always it's going to be the case. Your cause will be more prime than the others. But does it mean that spark to do the goodness beyond you does not exist? Should the leaders should not come to inspire you to do that? Absolutely. Absolutely, because that's how the wheel will keep running. We need more Nanaks, we need more such Kabirs, we need more Farids and more of these people to come because human mind will not learn easily. And it's in my point, you know what, we are as a species, if you see, you might say, okay, pardon me if I'm wrong. So I was speaking at the Harvard University the other day, in February this year, and I talked about the Indic saints and their message of leadership, ethical practices, and behavior and purposes of our existence. And I used a word unconsciously, not realizing. I was sitting in America, right, in the Boston, and I said in a very capitalistic environment, and I said basically, I see all the Indic saints. I'm not talking about Nanak alone. I'm talking about the entire spread of the Indic saints, and I'm seeing all of them as basically socialist in their mindset. I just used this one word. Okay. Later on, when I came out, people loved the session. I was surrounded for a long time. But then some good well-wisher came and he says, Amardeep, your session was fabulous, right? Can I just give you a piece of advice? I said, yeah, go ahead. He says, you're speaking in America. Don't use the word socialist. It's a capitalist place, right? Where socialism has no place, right? I said, oh, yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it. Sorry if I did that. I didn't realize. But at the core of it, these people are not communists. Communist is an political ideology that's anchored on socialism. Yes,
Yeah.
America opposes communism, but socialism has nothing wrong with it. I mean, Kabir stands for socialism, right? So my point, all I'm trying to say is that if you push too much of socialism, you start getting into negation of wealth creation. You get too much into wealth creation, you forget the grassroots of socialism. It's rare that you realize how to balance the two. Sometimes a lot of these foundations in US and others, it looks like on the face value, they're giving a lot of wealth. Absolutely. But there are metrics around that. Sometimes I look at it and say, metrics are still driving the same corporate behavior. Even in giving, there's a corporate behavior. So it's a very tough balance to strike in this world of existence. So does that mean these saints should not come? Does that mean that we should not aspire? Absolutely, we should aspire, but we will not cross that bridge. That's what you're saying. That's why
Thank you.
that's why we are humans.
So with hope that we will cross it one day.
No, we will cross the line, say 10,000 years down the line. That is what they're saying, that we are still, we
Yes.
may have evolved, but we are still living, we are basically primates, as you say, right?
Meenakshi, surely you and I will not be there to vouch for that.
We will not be
Right?
there. We will not be
So
there.
my assumption is we ain't going to cross it, right? Because the day we cross it, we have
Yeah.
become that underlying consciousness that from which the diversity emerges. For that, you'll have to, if you become that, of course, everything will go away. But then the diversity will finish also.
Yes, that's also a fact. And yeah, that's true.
Okay, we are at 12:30. Thanks a lot, Amardeep. Your sessions always keep going on, and I think it's a good thing to try and answer these questions that children have and try and evoke some thinking on a subject which normally none of us think that much about. So I think that's the power and the value of these sessions. So, Manisha ma'am, would you like to just come in and say thank you and bye?
Yeah, thank you so much, Amardeep sir. It was quite enlightening, and students, they are also packed up with their bags and everything with the questions, the way they have questioned and you have answered. It seems like they're also taking much of an interest. So we are looking forward for your very last episode and more continuity and something that we'll figure it out later, how to continue with all these sessions. So thank you everyone for joining.
Can I just say something before you
Yes,
log off, right? Yeah. Can I just say something?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yeah, okay. So I know we are already beyond time. I'll just say one thing. So for me, next month is going to be the last one with this episode. I've remained committed for full 2 years to be with my good school to deliver it. I committed. I've delivered it. I have many other things to do, but I've taken out time. I'll tell you why. I'm being selfish capitalist out here because I'm trying to learn something out of this. What does it take to actually engage with kids? I don't know if I succeeded, not succeeded, but I used to early days see the energy was to be lacking. But I said, no, you got to just go on. But I see now when the kind of questions that are coming, I think we are reaching a point. As I move on after the next episode in December, I want to leave as we used to be always taught in the corporate world is no one is indispensable and no one should be, I mean, everyone should be replaceable. So in that pursuit, I hope these kids or I hope the My Good School and the others continue the program, take it forward, because to me, this was train the trainer. Right or wrong really doesn't matter, right? So I want to say, become the baton holder from Amardeep and take it forward because I need to focus on many other things.
So, no, thank you. Thank you for all the time. We really, really appreciate it, Amardeep. And thanks a lot. And we'll be in touch anyway. See you next month.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.